You've felt it? That quiet sting when you compare yourself to someone else, that sinking in your chest when you realize you didn't measure up, that voice whispering, "You're not enough." Maybe you tried to ignore it. Maybe you tried to bury it under achievements, smiles, distractions. But no matter what you do, it comes back. Inferiority. The word itself sounds heavy, almost shameful. But Adler believed it is not only inevitable, it is universal. Every human being carries it. You, me, the people you admire most. Even those who look confident, unshakable, superior, they carry it too. In fact, their confidence may be nothing more than a mask to cover the wound. Adler shocked the world by saying that inferiority is not just a flaw, it is a force. It can crush you, yes. It can leave you paralyzed in shame, trapped in comparison, endlessly chasing validation. But it can also become your greatest source of growth, drive, and transformation. Inferiority is the wound, but it is also the energy that pushes you to heal. Think about it. Where do you feel most insecure? About your appearance, your intelligence, your achievements, your relationships. Whatever it is, that sense of being less than doesn't just sit silently. It pushes you. It fuels ambition, shapes your choices, even determines your personality. Some of your proudest victories were born in the soil of inferiority, but here is the hidden danger. When you deny inferiority, it controls you from the shadows. You overcompensate, you exaggerate, you put on masks of superiority to hide the truth. You chase achievements not out of passion, but out of fear of being exposed. And when success doesn't silence the voice, you collapse deeper into emptiness. Adler called this the inferiority complex. It is not just feeling inadequate, it is being ruled by inadequacy. It is when your life becomes a performance designed to prove to others and to yourself that you are not as small as you secretly feel. You have seen this in others. The arrogant person who brags endlessly, but only because they fear being insignificant. The perfectionist who never rests, but only because they fear being ordinary. The controlling leader who dominates everyone, but only because they fear being powerless. Behind every display of superiority lies an unhealed inferiority, and you've seen it in yourself too. The times you said yes just to be liked. The times you pushed harder, not because you loved the work, but because you hated the thought of being overlooked. The times you smiled in public but collapsed in private, wondering why nothing feels enough. That is the inferiority complex speaking. But Adler offered something radical. What if inferiority is not an enemy to destroy, but a signal to listen to? What if those feelings are not proof of weakness, but invitations to grow? This is where his philosophy breaks from despair and opens into transformation. Because he believed inferiority is the root of human striving. It is what makes children learn to walk. It is what makes students study. It is what makes artists create, athletes train, inventors innovate. Without the sense of being less than, there would be no drive to become more. Inferiority is the abyss and the ladder at the same time. But here is the paradox. Most people never climb the ladder. They stay stuck in the abyss. They run from inferiority instead of transforming it. They deny it, repress it, hide it under false confidence. And in doing so, they remain slaves to it. Look at your own life. Where have you been running? Where have you been hiding behind masks? Where have you been chasing achievements that never feel enough? These questions are not meant to shame you. They are meant to reveal the hidden engine of your life, because until you see it, you will remain trapped. You will keep performing, overcompensating, exhausting yourself in the attempt to silence a voice that cannot be silenced by applause. Adler's revelation is that the voice of inferiority is not meant to be silenced. It is meant to be understood. It is meant to be transformed into striving, not striving against others, but striving toward your own potential. And yet, there is a darker side too. Inferiority can twist into bitterness, envy, manipulation. It can fuel domination instead of growth. It can make you step on others to feel taller rather than learning to stand in your own strength. This is the danger Adler warned about. Inferiority ignored becomes poison. Inferiority faced becomes power. So ask yourself honestly, how do you respond to your own feelings of inadequacy? Do you deny them? Do you collapse under them? Do you wear a mask to cover them? Or do you face them and let them drive you to grow? The answer to that question will shape your entire life, because here lies the cliffhanger. Adler believed your inferiority doesn't just influence you. It designs your lifestyle. It shapes your relationships, your work, your ambitions, even your morality. In the next part, we will dive deeper into this. The mechanics of the inferiority complex, the strategies you use to compensate, and the hidden power of striving for superiority. And once you see how this works, you will never look at yourself and/or others the same way again. You already know what inferiority feels like. The knot in your stomach, the fear of not being good enough, the endless comparisons that drain your energy. But Adler went further. He revealed that this feeling doesn't just sting in passing, it shapes the way you live. It silently builds the blueprint of your life, your choices, your ambitions, your relationships, your identity itself. Adler called this blueprint your style of life. It is the pattern you develop in response to inferiority, and it begins in childhood. Every child is born weak, small, dependent. Compared to the adults around them, children feel powerless. This natural inferiority becomes the soil in which personality grows. Some children respond by striving to grow stronger, more capable, more confident. Others respond by retreating, by depending, by avoiding. The way you reacted to those first feelings of inferiority became the foundation of your style of life. Think back to your earliest memories. Do you remember moments of being left out, overlooked, or unable to do what others could? How did you react? Did you push yourself harder? Did you try to prove yourself? Did you withdraw in shame? These early responses became the silent script you carry into adulthood. Adler argued that the inferiority complex is born when a person becomes stuck in these early feelings. Instead of using inferiority as a challenge to grow, they collapse under it. They exaggerate their weakness in their mind, telling themselves, "I'll never be enough, I can't, I won't." And from there, every choice becomes distorted. But others react differently. They strive for superiority. This doesn't mean becoming superior to others, but striving to overcome their own limitations, to expand, to grow, to master themselves. For Adler, this striving was the fundamental drive of human life. Beneath all ambition, all creation, all progress, lies the desire to rise above inferiority. This striving can take two paths, healthy or unhealthy. Healthy striving is when you face your inferiority honestly and use it to fuel growth. You admit your weakness, but you don't collapse under it. You say, "Yes, I am not there yet, but I can improve." You channel your energy into development. You transform the wound into wisdom. This is where creativity, resilience, and meaning are born. Unhealthy striving, however, is when you deny your inferiority and cover it with false superiority. You exaggerate your achievements, dominate others, manipulate appearances. You don't grow, you perform. You don't become strong, you pretend. And while others may believe the performance, you know deep down it is hollow. This is why so many people who look powerful are deeply insecure. Their ambition is not growth, it is compensation. Their strength is not real, it is armor. And armor may protect, but it also imprisons. Adler's revelation is that every person is engaged in this battle between inferiority and superiority. But the outcome depends on whether you face or deny your weakness. He also showed that inferiority doesn't only shape individuals, it shapes societies. Nations that feel weak compensate with aggression. Groups that feel overlooked exaggerate their importance. Movements born from collective inferiority often turn destructive when they chase superiority at any cost. The same dynamic that plays out in your heart plays out on the stage of history. But let's bring it back to you. How has inferiority shaped your style of life? Do you strive endlessly, never satisfied, because you fear being ordinary? Do you dominate conversations, not out of confidence, but out of fear of being invisible? Do you seek perfection, not because you love excellence, but because you cannot bear to be flawed? These are signs of the inferiority complex at work. And yet, the very same feelings can also be the source of your transformation, because Adler believed inferiority is not a curse. It is the starting point of growth. Without it, you would never move. Without it, you would never strive. Without it, you would never create. The key is honesty, to admit, yes, I feel inferior here. Not to collapse in shame, not to deny with arrogance, but to face it directly and ask, how can I use this as fuel to grow? This is the turning point. Adler once said, follow your heart, but take your brain with you. The heart feels the pain of inferiority. The brain chooses how to respond. You can let the pain drive you into masks and illusions, or you can let it guide you toward transformation. In the next part, we will go deeper. We will explore how inferiority shapes your relationships, how it drives the people you love, how it manipulates your ambitions and fears. We will reveal why some people collapse into dependence, why others become tyrants, and why true strength lies in facing inferiority, not fleeing from it. And once you see this dynamic in your own life, you will begin to break free from the unconscious patterns that have ruled you for years. Look closely at your relationships. Look at the way you love, the way you fight, the way you respond when others see you. Adler believed that beneath every interaction lies the silent pull of inferiority. You are not just connecting with others, you are wrestling with yourself through them. Consider attraction. Have you ever wondered why you are drawn to certain people? Often, it is not logic but psychology. You are drawn to those who reflect your hidden struggles. The confident person may attract you because they embody the strength you repress. The gentle person may attract you because they soothe the insecurity you fear. The difficult truth is this: much of love is compensation. You are not just choosing them, you are choosing the part of yourself you feel missing. And conflict is no different. The arguments that hurt the most, the betrayals that sting the deepest, often reveal your own inferiority. You accuse them of being selfish because you repress your own selfish impulses. You accuse them of being weak because you cannot bear your own fragility. Projection is not only Freud's idea. Adler showed that inferiority leaks into every relationship. What you cannot accept in yourself, you attack in others. Even kindness can be shaped by inferiority. Some people give endlessly, not because they are saints, but because they fear rejection. They say yes when they want to say no. They sacrifice until they collapse, all in an attempt to prove they are worthy of love. Adler would say this is not true generosity. It is compensation. It is the inferiority complex wearing a mask of virtue. Now look at ambition. Why do you chase what you chase? Do you truly love the goals you pursue, or are you running from the voice of inferiority? Many people become perfectionists, not out of passion for excellence, but out of terror of being exposed as inadequate. They climb ladders, chase promotions, collect achievements, all in the hope that success will silence the voice. But success never does. Because the voice of inferiority is not silenced by applause. It is silenced only by acceptance. Adler warned that striving for superiority can twist. It can lead to domination, arrogance, manipulation. You've seen it. The boss who humiliates employees to feel powerful, the partner who controls to avoid abandonment, the friend who always competes instead of supports. These are not strong people. They are insecure people in disguise. Their superiority is only armor. Their true master is inferiority. And avoidance. It too is born of inferiority. Some people never try because they fear failure. They tell themselves, why bother? It won't work anyway. But beneath the excuses lies the terror of being exposed as less than. So they avoid relationships, avoid risks, avoid opportunities. They prefer the safety of inaction over the pain of facing their inferiority. But safety is not life. Safety is slow death. Adler saw this clearly. Those who avoid are no freer than those who dominate. Both are trapped. One hides behind masks of power, the other hides behind masks of helplessness. Both are prisoners of inferiority. Even manipulation has roots here. People who feel inferior often use subtle strategies to control others. Guilt, pity, drama, even sickness. They may not do it consciously, but the pattern is clear. By making others feel responsible, they gain a sense of power they cannot find within. It looks like weakness, but it is control in disguise. Adler called this the fiction of superiority, a story people tell themselves to escape their own wound. And yet, Adler did not condemn, he understood, because at the root of all these strategies, domination, avoidance, manipulation, lies the same truth. A human being trying to cope with inferiority, a person trying to protect themselves from the unbearable pain of being small. But here is the turning point. Inferiority does not have to control you. You can face it. You can admit, yes, I feel this. Yes, I fear this. And in that moment, the complex begins to dissolve, because what is confessed no longer controls you. What is accepted can no longer enslave you. Look back at your life. How many choices were born not out of passion, but out of fear? How many relationships did you enter, not because they were right, but because you were afraid of being alone? How many times did you say yes, not because you wanted to, but because you feared rejection? How many times did you stay silent, not because it was wise, but because you feared judgment? This is the secret power of inferiority at work. And yet, it is also the secret key to transformation, because every time you recognize the role inferiority plays, you gain freedom. You stop being manipulated by your own wound. You stop repeating patterns unconsciously. You begin to live consciously. Adler's genius was to show us that inferiority is not just a private feeling. It is the architecture of your life. It builds your relationships, fuels your ambition, dictates your fears, and designs your strategies. But once you see the pattern, you can change it. In the next part, we will explore this change. We will uncover how to turn inferiority into strength, how to transform shame into power, how to live not in compensation, but in authenticity. And we will see the practices, honesty, courage, responsibility that make freedom real. Because Adler's message is not just about psychology, it is about destiny. Awareness is the beginning, but transformation is the goal. You've seen how inferiority shapes your life, in relationships, ambition, avoidance, even manipulation. You've seen how it creates masks, stories, and cycles, but Adler's greatest insight was not that inferiority wounds you. It was that inferiority can empower you. The wound can become the source of strength if you dare to face it. So how do you turn inferiority into power? It begins with courage, the courage to admit the truth. Most people spend their lives running from inferiority. They bury it under achievements, laughter, distractions. They pretend to be strong while crumbling inside. But courage is different. Courage says, yes, I feel inferior, and yes, I can grow. Without that first step, nothing changes. Once you admit it, responsibility follows. Adler taught that life is not about what happens to you, but how you respond. Inferiority can make you bitter, or it can make you better. The difference lies in responsibility. You cannot control the comparisons, the wounds, the voices of shame. But you can control your response. You can decide to use the feeling as fuel instead of chains. Practical transformation begins here. Journaling is one practice. Each day, write not just what happened, but how inferiority showed itself. Where did you feel small? Where did you feel not enough? Instead of hiding it, capture it. The moment you put it on paper, you see it clearly. And what is seen loses its secret power. Another practice is deliberate striving. Choose one area of your life where you feel inadequate. Instead of running from it, confront it directly. If you fear speaking, practice speaking. If you fear failure, deliberately take risks. If you fear rejection, put yourself in situations where rejection is possible. Each time you face it, you reclaim strength. Each time you act, you weaken the chains of inferiority. Community is another key. Adler believed we are not isolated beings. He called it social interest, the idea that true strength comes not from superiority over others, but from contribution to others. When you serve, when you give, when you lift others, you break the cycle of comparison. You realize life is not a competition of who is better. Life is a collaboration of who becomes real. And silence, yes, even silence, is essential. Take time each day to sit with your feelings. No distractions, no masks. Just you and the voice of inferiority. At first it will scream. It will tell you you are not enough. But the longer you sit, the quieter it becomes. You realize the voice is not truth. It is only memory, fear, conditioning. And in silence, you discover a deeper voice, the voice of potential. Transformation also requires letting go of the masks. Stop overcompensating. Stop pretending. Stop performing for approval. People may like the mask, but they cannot love it. Only when you show yourself, even the insecure parts, can you be truly seen. And when you are seen and accepted, inferiority loses its poison. This is the paradox. The very thing you fear revealing is the thing that will free you. Vulnerability is not weakness. Vulnerability is the bridge to connection, growth, authenticity. Adler's wisdom was simple yet radical. Inferiority is not an enemy to destroy. It is a teacher to embrace. It points to where you must grow. It shows you where you must strive. It reveals the path to meaning. Without it, you would never change. Without it, you would never rise. And here is the gift. Once you transform inferiority, you gain a rare strength. Not arrogance, not domination, but calm confidence. The kind of presence that doesn't need to prove itself. The kind of strength that uplifts others instead of crushing them. The kind of authenticity that cannot be faked. This transformation changes everything. In relationships, you stop clinging for validation. You stop projecting wounds. You enter love as a whole person, not a mask. In ambition, you stop chasing endless approval. You pursue goals that matter, not trophies that numb. In fear, you stop running. You face life directly, knowing that imperfection is not death. And in selfhood, you stop pretending. You begin living. This is the freedom Adler wanted for you, not the absence of inferiority, but the mastery of it, not denial, but transformation. So now, ask yourself honestly, how will you respond to your feelings of inferiority? Will you keep running, hiding, performing, or will you face them, use them, grow through them? Because if you choose growth, you become rare. You become someone others cannot ignore. You become someone unforgettable. Write it now in the comments. I choose awareness. And if you are ready to keep walking this path, subscribe, because this is not the end. This is the beginning of strength.